back at it with another 500 round challenge, where this time I'm focusing on shooting my go-to or preferred 20-inch AR-15 fitted with a 3x Prism optic from 0 to 100 yards, with a special emphasis on where it doesn't necessarily shine, 25 yards and in. Like I mentioned in my optic choices for your 20-inch AR-15 video, it's just as important to become proficient and work around where your rifle doesn't shine, as well as becoming competent on where it does shine. Over the course of a couple of range trips, I'm hoping to effectively maneuver, wield, and learn to practically and proficiently shoot a longer barreled AR up close. With the instructional supervision of my friend Tim, let's see what an extremely average man can do. Let's get into it. Here's my 20-inch AR. It's by no means foreign to me, as it's the AR I gravitate towards and shoot often. I don't necessarily like parts breakdowns of rifles, as it tends to plant a consumeristic and brand-chasing mindset into people's heads and takes away from the shooting fundamental nature of what I'm trying to convey. But for transparency's sake, I do have a standard chromoly or CMV barrel, an aftermarket 2-stage trigger, rifle length gas system, and carbine length buffer tube with an A2 buffer. As far as attachments go, I have a solid pair of flip-up backup iron sights, a white light, and my Prism optic of choice, a primary arms 3x micro prism. All in all, this shakes out to 8.7 pounds, complete with sling and empty mag. The ammunition used for this challenge is Old Army ammo, some standard fare M193 surplus ball ammo from Uncle Sam that I picked up in bulk a while back for a fair price. Range trip number 1 kicked off with a 7 a.m. arrival to a good berm spot that allowed me to set steel targets at 100, 85, and 75 yards, with paper targets up close, well within 25 yards. While awaiting Tim's arrival and with coffee flowing through my veins, I decided to have a sit down and make some predictions before sending 250 of my 500 rounds down the barrel. I'm excited for this one. I think what I want to learn is, well, I know just from doing a little bit of rapid fire up close, it really is just finding a rhythm to tame the recoil and just getting that rhythm to, anticipate your shots when you fire rapidly. But I definitely want to work on rapid firing and doing it controllably, and then just acquiring a target quickly. It's going to be a little bit more of a challenge because, of course, it's a 3x Prism as opposed to either iron sights or even just a red dot. So that's going to be a little more challenging. So those are kind of things I want to focus on is, again, controlling rapid fire shots, getting sight alignment quickly, and maneuvering up close and where this thing doesn't necessarily shine as much. With Tim's guidance and with the power of friendship, range trip number 1 was underway. And as I grace you with my table talk, I really wanted to focus on sight alignment, point shooting, acquiring, and rapid firing on targets up close. The aim of the game for the initial 250 rounds was to focus on where the 20-inch and certainly the 3x Prism creates a bit more difficulty shooting under 25 yards. We started with a myriad of rapid firing drills, discharging 2, 3, or 5 round bursts into a target before transitioning to another. Each one of these drills is sort of a combination of 3 different skill sets that I've begun practicing in previous range trips. But with this challenge, here they are combined together and in front of the camera. Slow at first, but with repeated rounds of each drill, I began feeling much more planted with each course, and towards the end of my ammunition supply, pulling the trigger rapidly became less clunky and became much more fluid. Footwork and sling management is another core element with these close distances that I don't want to comment on too much just yet because I'm still very much working on these aspects as well. It's a dance and a fluidity all in its own regard that allows you to get to those calculated shots. All in all, it's a really successful range day that allowed me to improve upon some dynamics, while giving me ideas and areas to improve upon for the next range trip. Two weeks later, and with a free Saturday morning at my disposal, I arrived solo to the range. Acquiring a berm spot with small rolling hills and the cloudless blue sky above me required multiple applications of chapstick. Paper targets were patched and repainted from the last trip, and with the steel target set, the rangefinder dialed them in at roughly 65, 75, and 100 yards. Off camera, I decided to zero my optic, since I noticed it was shooting left to center from my last trip. These rounds weren't counted as part of the 500 total for the challenge. Similar to last trip, I wanted to do again rapid fire, transition, and engage targets up close, while reaching out and hitting the 3 steel targets at 70 to 100 yards. A few hundred rounds in, and rapid firing bursts is beginning to feel more natural, and anticipating and taming the recoil impulse is becoming instinctive. Sure, it's only 5.56, but attaining tighter groups is still a skill set nonetheless. Throughout the day, I did my usual run and gun drills to get the heart rate up, and did some pseudo shooting behind cover. Perhaps one day I can do one of those shoot houses and really put my skills to the test. By the end of the range trip in challenge, I was happy to say that I felt more confident shooting where the setup is a bit more vulnerable, under 25 yards. I'll continue to work on these drills and tighten my draw times and groupings, but this challenge showed me that with practice, the 20-inch AR-15 with a 3x Prism is quite the capable short to mid-range carbine contender.
Ooh, I like that one. Now I'll do it in reverse. We'll be advancing on the target.
Now, I'm going to preface this by stating that I'm not an expert on any of this. I'm an average guy who's simply trying to get better in all aspects with the setup that I've chosen. But with advice and practice, here's some tips and tricks and things I've noticed and learned over time. Rapid firing quick controlled bursts is a skill learned over time. It's all about rhythm and cadence, controlling and resetting the recoil impulse of the rifle. Start with shooting one paper target, say 5 yards away. You can shoot 3, 4, or 5 round bursts, or really any kind of combination. But for this example, let's do a 5 round burst. Like a metronome, set a slow tempo in your head. Boom, 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 boom. Try and keep that cadence as you fire, while maintaining a good shooting stance and cheek weld, while you tame the recoil of the rifle and bring your sights back down on target with each shot. Once you start managing the recoil impulse well and begin keeping a steady rhythm, speed it up a little bit. Boom, 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 boom. Good. Keep mastering that quicker cadence and recoil impulse until you can get to a point where you're pulling the trigger as fast as you can, while remaining on target with your bursts. It'll take some ammunition and some range trips to get it down pat, so hang in there and keep at it. Point shooting is exactly what it sounds like. Point the gun, shoot the gun. This is for a scenario, say 5 yards and in. Perhaps you turn a corner and there's a threat right there with no time or distance to really aim. This is basically hip firing. There's multiple ways to do this because this type of shooting is meant to catch you off guard and up close with an immediate threat. You can practice this from low, high ready, stock tucked under your armpit, or even with the rifle slung across your body. A good way to practice this is to walk towards a paper target and have your friend, or yourself, hit the shot timer. When it goes off, immediately point and shoot your rifle in a quick burst. No aiming, just pointing your muzzle somewhat level in front of you and firing. This will take some fine tuning for you to learn where exactly to point the muzzle for you to put hits on target, so please be careful. And make sure you have plenty of backstop so you're not accidentally pointing your muzzle too high and sending rounds over your berm. Perhaps only shoot one round at a time until you learn where to point accurately. Over time, you'll get down the muscle memory of where to instinctively point and shoot. You can add multiple target engagements as you build your proficiency. Just keep in mind that this is for immediate threats at point-blank ranges. If you have time and space to aim, by all means do it. This is for a scenario, say, 5 to 10 yards away, and while I aim, I know my sight picture will be obscured because I'm zoomed in too much for the range, and it'll be difficult to figure out what it is exactly I'm looking at, but these shots will be more accurate than point shooting. To aid with this, and still put rounds on target quickly, what I do is face and stare at exactly where I want my rifle to go, and I bring my rifle up to my shoulder and eye. I look broadly through my prism with both eyes open, as it should be in the ballpark of where to shoot. I'll make a quick fine-tune adjustment and pull the trigger. Keep in mind your height over bore at these close ranges. My optic is roughly 2 inches above my barrel and zeroed at 100 yards, so I know to aim a tad high at these close ranges. When you go to transition to the next target, don't try to search for it through your prism scope. Seconds count up close like this. As you pivot your body to face the next target, use the peripherals of your eyes to bring the target to you. Broadly look through the scope with both eyes open, make a quick adjustment if needed, and fire another controlled burst. Over time and with practice, with these skills under your belt, you'll become much more proficient and comfortable at these close ranges. After 500 rounds and building up my skill set with a variety of different drills there at the range, I can confidently say that I'm much more proficient shooting from 0 to 25 yards and really 0 to 100 as a whole. With a bit of practice, you can certainly alleviate the weaker attributes with this type of setup, as I found with this 500 round challenge. Although in the grand scheme of things, I find them to be pretty minor, and that shouldn't be a big surprise. The 3x Prism is a bit jarring up close, but it isn't that much magnification in the grand scheme of things. I mean, all this setup really is an AR-15 with half pound more weight, 4 inches more barrel, a few more zoomies that take advantage of the 32 to 3,300 feet per second velocity side of things. You can have 5 different ARs set up for 5 different scenarios, or 1 or 2 ARs that are utilized often, familiar to the shooter, and set up in sort of a jack-of-all-trades type of configuration to handle most scenarios. My bank account, mindset, and reality suggest that I should focus on the latter. Thank you guys so much for watching, as I really enjoy making these videos and consequently make me a more proficient shooter. I certainly have a long way to go and a lot to work on, but hey, I'm an average guy having fun along the way. And with each range trip that I make it out to, and with each video that I end up making, I'm reaching my goal of just becoming more proficient overall. Right now, I've got to go clean my AR and perhaps start working on the next video, pushing my AR out to distance. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.
Feed me, Daddy.
Where do squirrels rank up?
That's fun.
You're shooting a tiny bit too close. Have a 20 inch.
Look at that. It's a little ammo can. It's adorable. And consequently, is that the word? What is with the bees?
Is that me?
I think I farted actually.
That's pretty good. That's a fart.
Big fart.
That's like